how are we going to save wildlife, particularly African wildlife? Hey, I'm John Harrison, and welcome to another episode of Exponential Radio. Today we're changing gears a bit because this is one of my pet projects. It's something that I really have a moonshot about, and is how do we save African wildlife going forward, because the pressure is mounting all the time and species are disappearing all the time. We have spoken about this a bit in the past, but I wanted to now bring it again to everyone's attention, and I'm really looking to do a project here and with a moonshot. We do have Outdoor Environmental Education Africa, which is a for-profit organization, and that is involved in school tours. It takes youth, particularly primary school learners, on these tours to our wilderness areas in southern Africa. And the idea here being is that they get an experiential learning process, and it helps a lot with changing attitudes, increasing knowledge, and hopefully passing on some bush skills. The idea is this is a long-term project. So when you look at these types of projects, really you have immediate type impacts where you might go for a specific species and save them straight away, or a habitat, or a longer thing like education. We've also want to launch this project called the Morapedi Wildlife and Environmental Foundation, which is a non-profit. The idea here is that we really want to utilize technology with sensors in the ground, both for understanding habitats, water availability, etc. Also for things like some of the biggest threats, which is destruction of habitat by humans, encroachment, and specifically poaching. And we can do this if we can utilize, for example, Starlink with the Wi-Fi, and utilizing robotics, etc. It's very exciting potential. So really, our NTP would be something like saving wildlife with technology, specifically these advancing technologies. So this is pretty exciting because it kind of encapsulates the technology and the other thing that I'm very keen about, which is wildlife. And if I had my way, I'd also be able to get volunteers involved, especially martial artists, to come along and give time to training local communities, and obviously then staying within one of these wilderness areas, so they're getting that experience in return. It's very important that we start and we build out a sort of a process. So just to go over that, we're looking at really to start with know where you're going. And here we need to, as I say, have the MTP, which is critically important to attract the right sort of people, to build a team. You've seen with Elon Musk with X.AI, he straight away has understanding the universe as MTP, and the first thing he's done is he built a team, 12, something like the disciples, I guess. But he's got a very powerful team there. So we'd like to get a team together, a core team, and members can come and go depending on what sort of period they want to be involved and how long they want to be involved. You obviously then need to look at the stakeholders, people that are going to be affected by any particular project in a particular area. You want to have partners in various capacities that would help out, and as I say, short and long term. And then you want to start with your facts and figures, building out a plan. So you got to understand what you're trying to do. And it's very important to define the scope of the project, to stay within those bounds, to have a clear vision. You got your MTP, but you want to know what the outcome is going to look like at the end of the day. And you also want to have those targets very clearly defined up front. Understanding the problems that are involved is very key. So what's causing them, identifying those threats, what's behind those threats. It's really important to understand what's behind those threats and those root causes, digging deeper. And a lot of times it's within the community, and there's not necessarily nice people you sometimes have to deal with. There's some quite dangerous people out there, but nevertheless, there's some of the things we're going to be able to look at, and technology can help us immensely. The people factor, as we've touched on now, who are we going to engage and why? What target audience are we going for when we're trying to develop this whole project, as far as donors are concerned, as far as people in communities are concerned? And this is a long-term project. It shouldn't just be something that happens and then stops. This can be rolled out, if successful as a pilot, can be rolled out nationally and regionally and internationally. And we've got to understand who's going to do what. Very important to define roles and responsibilities and accountabilities, and also what makes your audiences tick when you're trying to, what buttons, hot buttons you can push, and then devolve compelling messages to get their attention. So what do we have to do to get this thing off the ground? So we need, obviously, building out a plan of action, look at our social strategies, and prioritize the strategy we're going to apply. The types, and ours is specifically technology. Obviously education and training with human resources, but technology, I believe, is the lever that can make the difference. And we want to have a theory of change, what it is that we're looking to change. And specifically, other than destruction of habitat, really within regions that are protected, is preventing both poaching of animals and of wood, etc., trees. And then obviously we're going to measure that. You're going to have logical models that you roll out to actually see how successful you're being. And lastly, we really want to know that we do have canvases as tools to build these business models, this non-profit organization, templates, various tools that are going to be looking at how to build a team, what sort of team you want, you getting the stakeholders in your first project area, who's involved there, the partners that will be involved, and then, you know, within that community and looking at those problems, defining those problems. And there are tools and templates that we have that we can roll this out with. It's pretty exciting. So that is something that I'm looking to get off the ground, and we'll be chatting about it over the next coming weeks to see if we can get some traction going. As you know, I'm part of the Exponential organization, open organization, so there are a lot of very, very talented people there, and hopefully we can get some of them on board. We have access to a global community of experts, and I'm hoping we can get some people involved, some of the right people to build a team out, even if it's on a temporary basis, to get this thing off the ground. So that's pretty exciting news for me anyway, and anyone who's interested in wildlife and preservation, as well as obviously environment is linked to environment. So until next time, as usual, you can always get some of our back issues. Go to johnarthurharris.blogspot.com, and otherwise we're going to see you in the next episode.